Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Reese number DB591A. This is a mill finish aluminum, astragal, door bottom, seal, sill, threshold. An item like this can be used for lots of instances. Let's start to dissect it. DB stands for door bottom in the part number. 591 is representative of this profile, and the A stands for mill aluminum finish, meaning that the aluminum portion of this is in just a mill finish. Before we get into discussing the different applications, there is an image down below this item that will allow you to see the product catalog. There's a link, I should say, below this video to the product brochure, where you can review different door bottoms from Reese. The items can be ordered as fire rated, meaning that they will be UL rated if you insert the F suffix into the part number. If you need an F version, indicate that in the comment field and we'll supply it that way. The vinyl insert, forgive me, I have misspoken. This item is fire rated. The F is used in other Reese products to indicate fire rated, like other pieces of seal. This is already UL rated. The F version is going to give you this same model, but rather than a smooth piece of vinyl, will give you the fingers that will project out. Should you want to have that sort of scenario, that might be more advantageous for you if you had a somewhat irregular floor surface where a smooth unit may not be as advantageous for you. If you had a smooth topped threshold, you might want the smooth version, but a finned version might be more appropriate if you had like a fluted top threshold, something of that nature. You can also order this with a U insert in lieu of the V for vinyl. Vinyl is the least desirable of all choices for insert material. Vinyl is very low quality, very low caliber, very low performance. The U stands for urethane. Polyurethane is an outrageously more capable insert material where it's significantly more resistant to abrasion, to extraordinary, especially abrasion. Sliding something, you would want something more resistant to the friction and the deterioration that will come hand in hand with making constant contact. Vinyl is really used when, in my opinion, economy is the most, or the governing factor. If you're executing a contract and you've got 100 of these to supply, I understand the spec called for vinyl. That's what the client has in the budget, and there you go. If it was me, I would always be using polyurethane because it's so much more capable. Extreme temperatures, resistant to ultraviolet, chemicals it's resistant to, and then again abrasion resistance. So you can order this by adding the U to the end of the product number as well. So those are some options. Oh, forgive me, finish options. A stands for mill aluminum, D is dark bronze, and then G is gold anodized. So mill, dark bronze anodized, or gold anodized can all be done on the aluminum-based material. Now, where are you going to use this? Well, anywhere, really. You could use this as a threshold for a wheelchair shower enclosure. You could use it for that. You could use this as an astragal between two doors. You could use this as a door bottom below a door. You could use this to trim off the bottom of a top on a pickup truck. You could use that as well. Because of how universal this sort of shape is, you get into an ability to solve lots of different problems with it. Now, it may be less suited than others for your application. It might be better suited for certain applications than others. For instance, as an astragal, well, if you've got door hardware that you'll have to cut this, you'll have a disconnect. But if you had a pair of doors that had an unusually wide gap and you had surface vertical rod exit devices, this might be very elegant for that sort of problem. The dimensional properties are mentioned down below, or at least partially. Let's go over it because they're all not mentioned. Overall width of the item is just heavy an 1.25 inches. Then they've got it 1/2 inch, and that's accurate too. I'd want to be at about a 7/16 of an inch undercut for this. I wouldn't want to have too much gap there, too little gap or too much gap. Now, one reason I'm quite partial to the Reese line is that you'll notice there is, well, you're not going to see it on the camera, but maybe on the images down below, there are two small raised ridges that are here. And if it's going onto a wood door, when you tighten the screws down, and you'll notice the screw holes in the bottom, when you tighten the screws down, that's going to have the effect of biting into the wood, helping prevent any lateral movement, because that's where all the force is coming from, laterally. I've pulled that back there a bit, and it is normal, typical, and custom for the seal to always come uninstalled and long for you to trim it in the field. It's not a chore to slide these in, but unfortunately you have to slide it in because you have no way to install it with the vinyl already inserted. These slotted holes there are to help compensate for doors that are not plumb, or possibly sill conditions that are not level. Not that this will help you account for that sort of out of level, but they will help you position it to get it properly located and help account for a misdrilled hole where that drill bit has a tendency to walk a little bit before it pierces in. Okay. Now, I'm partial to Reese because of a confluence of a few factors that I think you should consider, especially with this piece of door bottom material. Those ridges are really smart. You know, someone had to engineer that. Someone had to learn the hard way that it would be beneficial to have that bite into a wood door. Now, you could doctor this up too. You could, and Reese wouldn't assist you in doing that, but you could route that into the edge of to the bottom rail of your wood door, provided it's not fire rated, or the edge of your wood doors. You could come up with a spring concept that you could have longer screws and then a very light spring inside of there, or you could adjust the projection by turning the screw, drawing that in or out. That's nice because how many times have you gone into a church? I happen to notice this at churches because I think there's a confluence of factors that lead up to it. Gorgeous doors that were put in 30 years ago, fatigued with time because, you know, it's a church. So my perhaps politically incorrect conclusion is that funds are limited, and the doors are not maintained as well as they might be in a government subsidized halls of power application. The ability to adjust that over time, because in the pair of doors, those doors tend to sink in like this a bit, and the ability to adjust over time is crucial because maintenance, an ounce of, prevention, pound of cure kind of thing. When the weather stripping starts to hit abnormally, it will affect the door operation. It will make things worse, is the short version of what I'm trying to say. The ability to tailor the installation over time is better and maintain it. And a weather stripping that's adjustable, of which Reese can provide a very comprehensive offering of all material, is very advantageous to you and your goal of purchasing material that will work long lasting. Because it's doors and because they're in constant motion, they're not set it and forget it. They have to be maintained like a car engine does. And Reese has a confluence of a product line that allows you to be smart day one and then 20 years down the road. There is this item is listed in the website in several different lengths. If you have need for a custom length, by all means let us know by ordering the next longest piece or pieces, and simply indicate in the comment field what net length you'd like for us to cut the material back to, and that's how we'll supply it. The point being is that it will save you the trouble of cutting the extrusion, but it will also save you the trouble of having to re-drill a hole. And while that may not be such a chore to re-drill a hole, it's a bit of a challenge to drill a slotted hole. And you probably want that slotted hole to help adjust and get it centered exactly, because you might have a scenario in that pair of door application where one door is a bit tipped out compared to the other one, and you might want to shimmy, slide, move, get something better placed so that the crown of the vinyl or urethane bulb is making best contact with the other surface, that sort of scenario. If you have need for a custom length, by all means let us know by ordering the next longest piece or pieces, and indicate in the comment field the net length that you'd like for us to ship it out at. We'll be happy to supply it that way. I've been talking about those holes. Here are the screws. Screws are included. They may or may not be in a complementary finish. I don't see how it matters. You won't see them whatsoever, regardless of the color of the extrusion. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Reese products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog, and then finally all the items from Reese that we sell. Everything we sell, their website, the full catalog. I'm partial to Reese, and it's because a confluence of several things: well-engineered, well-thought-out products, excellent customer service, prompt, reliable, predictable shipping lead times, a company you can depend on, an exhaustive product offering of very high-quality weather stripping where you'll generally find lots of options in terms of finish and insert, but the extrusions, the aluminum itself, especially on their thresholds, just simply seems to be thicker. When you hold the material, you say, gosh, that's a heavy threshold. It's because the aluminum is thicker. That's why. And finally, for me personally, their dark bronze finish is gorgeous. It's absolutely phenomenally gorgeous. You might get into a situation where you're doing, the surface of my desk is black. You get into a situation where you're doing some aluminum storefront material and the anodized finish is really super dark, but they call it dark bronze. I would call it practically black. Their dark bronze anodized is far lighter than black in the sense that it's much more compatible with what dark bronze is, not black. Much more compatible with an oil rubbed bronze type finish. If you're doing a job, a pair of doors, and you want the weather stripping to look as regal as the $4,000 set of exit devices you've put on, Reese is the company to go with. If you have any questions on the DB591A, properly AV for vinyl, or any other Reese product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.